Stay beside me. Those 3 words weren't whispered in a quiet room or spoken in secret. They were said aloud, in front of a room full of people, and they carried a weight that silenced every mocking laugh. No one expected a powerful CEO, dressed in his perfectly tailored suit, to hold the hand of a poor girl who clearly didn't belong in that glittering hall. But when he did, the entire crowd froze, because in that moment, they realized they had witnessed something greater than wealth, status, or pride. It all began earlier that evening when Emily, a hard-working girl from a small town, was invited to a charity gala in Toronto. She wasn't supposed to be there. She didn't have the money, the clothes, or the connections. But she had been volunteering at a shelter for months, and one of the organizers, touched by her dedication, slipped her an invitation. Emily borrowed a simple second-hand dress, ironed it 3 times, and with her heart pounding, walked into the grand hall filled with glittering chandeliers, flowing gowns, and men in tuxedos. The moment she entered, the room seemed to pause. People noticed her modest dress and shy smile. Whispers started, some eyes softened with curiosity, but others sharpened with judgment. A group of wealthy women standing near the bar laughed behind their glasses. Who let her in? She looks like she works here. The words stung, though Emily tried to ignore them. She kept her head high, reminding herself why she was there, to represent the people who never got a chance to step into places like this. At that very moment, Adrian Cole, the CEO of a multinational firm, stood across the room. He had come to the gala as one of the sponsors, but he was tired of the usual fake smiles and hollow conversations. Then he saw her, Emily, standing alone, looking both out of place and yet so brave. Something about her caught him instantly. She wasn't like the others. There was no pretense in her eyes, no calculated charm. She was real. Emily tried to blend into the background, but as she moved toward the refreshment table, the laughter grew louder. A man smirked and said, "Careful, don't spill anything on the carpet. It probably costs more than your whole outfit." A few others chuckled. Her cheeks burned, and for a split second, she thought about leaving. Her hands trembled as she clutched her small purse. That's when Adrian stepped forward. Without hesitation, he walked straight to her, ignoring the stares and whispers. Standing tall, his presence commanded the room. He reached for her hand gently but firmly, and with the entire hall watching, he said, "Stay beside me." The crowd fell silent. Emily's eyes widened, unsure of what was happening. Adrian smiled reassuringly and continued, "I've been looking for the most genuine person in this room, and I've found her." He laced his fingers with hers and didn't let go. The mocking voices vanished. The same people who laughed now stood frozen, embarrassed by their cruelty. Adrian guided Emily through the room as though she belonged there more than anyone else. Suddenly, she wasn't invisible or ridiculed, she was seen, respected, and honored. As the night went on, Adrian introduced her to influential guests, not as someone beneath him, but as his equal. He spoke proudly of her volunteer work, how she had given her time and heart to help others while expecting nothing in return. Emily, though nervous, spoke about the children she cared for at the shelter, her dreams of creating a space where no one felt forgotten. Her sincerity touched hearts in ways wealth never could. By the end of the evening, the same people who mocked her were applauding her story. Donations poured in for the shelter. People who had once looked at her as less, now wanted to know more about her vision. But for Emily, the most unforgettable part was the warmth of Adrian's hand holding hers, steady and protective, reminding her she wasn't alone. When the night ended and the crowd began to leave, Emily whispered, "Why did you do that? You don't even know me." Adrian looked at her with a calm but certain expression. Because sometimes it takes just one moment of kindness to change someone's whole life. And tonight, you weren't the one who didn't belong, they were, with their arrogance. Stay beside me, Emily. Not just tonight, but always. Her eyes filled with tears. No one had ever defended her like that. No one had ever seen her worth so clearly. And though their worlds were different, in that moment, she believed that perhaps kindness could bridge any distance. For the people in that room, the night became just another event. But for Emily, it was the night her dignity was restored. And for Adrian, it was the night he realized that true power wasn't in wealth or status, but in standing up for someone when the world tried to push them down. And so, Whenever life grew heavy and doubts tried to creep in, Emily remembered his voice in that crowded hall, steady and unwavering, "Stay beside me." Those words carried her through, reminding her that love, respect, and courage were worth more than all the glitter in the world. Would you like me to also craft 5 image prompts for this story, perfect for a YouTube thumbnail and key scenes?